Since my last video on Blue Origin, I've been getting a lot of feedback from a lot of people, positive and negative. The negative feedback basically talks about seems to think that I'm bashing Blue Origin, and to be fair, I kind of am, but I believe it's justified. I'm not a hater. I don't want to see Blue Origin fail. I'm a big Amazon fan. I subscribe to their products a lot, and so I'm a fan of Jeff Bezos. However, I think that Blue Origin is making some major mistakes in the way they're going about running their business. I understand that their philosophy is different than SpaceX, and that their approach to solving problems is different than SpaceX, and that's where I'm saying I believe that they are in error. I don't believe that the path that they're following is going to be successful. And I don't like to say that, but I believe that's true. Going back, today is launch day for New Shepard 13. I'm excited about that. I'm going to be tuning in and watching it. In the future, I'll be doing live streams on these. But back in May of 2019, New Shepard 11 launched, and at that, I watched that webcast, and they said that the New Shepard 13 launch would be crewed, that they would carry their first test crew, which is going to comprise basically employees of either Blue Origin or Amazon. I'm assuming Blue Origin employees, but I didn't know what their methodology was for picking the candidates of who would go, if it was a lottery or if they're just going to send up engineers. But I know the girl doing the webcast was excited because she was talking about how she was going to go. So that I found to be exciting, and I was looking forward to NS-13, which launched in December of that same year, last year, with no crew on board. There was the test of the escape system. And if you go back and watch that, the capsule did successfully separate from the booster using the escape rocket motor, which is a solid rocket motor mounted underneath. It's a pusher system, doesn't use an escape tower like the Apollo or Mercury or Gemini systems of the past, which is a puller system. This was a pusher, so the engine's behind the capsule, and it's a solid rocket motor, which is very reliable. It's a good choice for that sort of thing. And they even showed that the solid rocket motor inside the capsule serves as a table for the crew to, I don't know what you would do with a table on a capsule, but basically you can see there's a table inside the capsule with the 6 seats around it, and that table in the middle is actually the propellant for the solid rocket motor for the escape tower or escape engine. When that capsule separated from the booster, it began to tumble a bit, and that was clearly because they have no aerodynamic surfaces on that capsule. It's basically like throwing a ball through the air. It's going to spin and rotate, and that's what happened. And they called it a success, and it was. You would survive that. It would not be the ideal way to escape, but when you have a booster that's failing, any escape is a good escape as long as you survive the landing. Elon Musk did a kind of a fun little jab tweet, basically saying, it looks like that capsule could use some aerodynamic control surfaces, and it could. It definitely needs them. That would basically make that escape flight much safer. So it was, was it a kind of a sarcastic or rude comment in a way, and that's Elon's style, but it was also helpful. If you can put down your ego and say, hey, you know what, that's not the best way to escape from a booster, let's put some fins on it. But anyway, they did the test, they called it a success, and then so we were expecting NS-13 to have a crew, and it did not. There was no mention of, they did mention that in that webcast that they would be adding a crew, and I can't remember if they said it would be on the next one. I guess, I'm sorry, NS-12. I can't remember if they said that they would have one on NS-13. I'd have to go back and watch it, but we were being told that they are going to put a crew on the next one or the next one, whatever. And here is New Shepard 13 launching today at 10 a.m. Central Time, and there's no crew. No word of that. What's going on with the crew? What are their plans for crew? They are carrying up scientific instruments for NASA, part of the Artemis system. I don't believe that that's a big deal, but they've carried up scientific instruments on a lot of their flights. Now, I wanted to go over and point out kind of the history of this vehicle, because as I mentioned in previous statements, in previous videos, the launch cadence seems to be going down. And maybe that's not entirely accurate. This program began in 2015 with the first flight was 2015, April 29th. And that one was a partial success. They did reach above the Kármán line and got into space. The capsule separated and landed properly. The booster crashed on landing, so it was a partial success. That was New Shepard 1. New Shepard 2 was November of that year. So they got 2 in on their very first year. That one was 100% success. Then 2016, they had 1, 2, 3, 4 flights, January, April, June, and October. 2017, they only had 1, New Shepard 3. That was a new vehicle. Okay. But that was at the end of the year. That was December of 2017. And then you had flights in April and July of 2018 with that same vehicle, New Shepard 3. And New Shepard 3 also flew in 2019, January, May, and December. And that's what's flying today. So this will be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th flight. This, assuming it's successful, would be the 6th landing of this vehicle. I think it's great. However, it's falling short of their promises. And I think when you've had 5 years plus of launches and you only have 13 to show for it, that's not a good launch cadence. That's very few and far between, especially when one of those 13 is a failure. You really need to get out there and collect more data and do more testing and fly this thing a lot more often. And I have to ask the question, why is it flying so infrequently? And I think it's because it's not as reusable as they want us to believe it is. I think it's more like the space shuttle is refurbishable, but not fully reusable. Now it could be that, just for data collection purposes, they're taking the booster, tearing it all apart, examining everything, putting it all back together for safety, because it's a new vehicle. Well, if they're doing that, they should have more than one, and they should be collecting data a lot more frequently from these launches. But it's been almost a year since the last one, and no explanation of why that is or where we stand on having a crewed flight, because it would be fun and exciting to get to go on one of these, or at least watch people go up there and send a crew up and have regular, ordinary people be able to go up into space. That's what I'd like to see. I don't think we're going to see it from Blue Origin, unfortunately. I think that to get this thing human rated is a lot harder than they had anticipated. You're going to need a lot more than 13 flights, especially with one of them being a failure. So, partial failure. The crew part didn't fail, but still, it's not the most confident. It doesn't inspire the most confidence when the booster fails, but the capsule succeeds. I mean, yeah, that's better than the other way around. However, you want to see a lot of success. You don't want to get on a plane if it's had a partial failure out of 1 out of 13 flights. It's different with a Falcon 9. Yeah, we've had a lot more failures on a Falcon rocket. However, we've had a lot more successes as well. So anyway, I wanted to go ahead and clear that up. I'm going to put up the I put up the schedule there so you can see it, but also wanted to point out here, regarding passenger flights, it even says on their Wikipedia page, following the 5th and final test of the NS-2 booster and test capsule of October 2016. So back in 2016, Blue Origin indicated they were on track for flying test astronauts by the end of 2017, beginning commercial suborbital passenger flights in 2018. Blue Origin made no passenger flights in 2017, and in December 2017 stated that they remained about a year away from starting to fly people. So they used to put out these things. Obviously, they've shown that they're wrong. Now they don't talk about it. That's unfortunate. I think if they had more data, if they were collecting more data, then they could go ahead and lay out that roadmap and say, you know what, if they would come out and say, hey, you know what, we were hoping to fly people last year or the year before that or even 2017, that would be great. You know, if they said we were hoping to do that, but we couldn't because here's the reasons why. I would, you know, that would even give more confidence to me as far as them not blowing smoke up our asses. But anyway, I'm wishing them lots of success today. I would love to be able to, you know, see this become what they're promising it to be. But again, I still am convinced that Blue Origin is not on the right path. I think they're spread too thin. I think they're misguided in their partnership in the national team for the lunar lander. I don't think they're ready to build a lunar lander, at least not a crewed one. You know, if they were going to build a probe or robotic thing, great. But to go from an uncrewed suborbital with only 13 flights after today to a super heavy with nothing in between that's supposed to be fully reusable, and then to a crewed lunar module, I don't see that as good successful iteration as far as an engineering process goes. I think, unfortunately, it's a lot of paper designs, and we're not going to see these come to fruition. I know they have a big rocket factory in Florida for the New Glenn. That doesn't mean they're going to put out rockets. It means they're going to try, but when you have a learning curve that's going to be that expensive, you know, look at what SpaceX doing is in Boca Chica with their super heavy. They're blowing things up. They're testing. They got something on the test stand every day of the week for years now. And that's the way you got to do it, especially when building something that's never been done before. You got to get out there and get the data. You got to test again, find out what works, find out what doesn't work, and go from there. But their approach, I'm not thrilled about it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they succeed. I would love to see a viable competitor to SpaceX, but I don't think Blue Origin is it. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. That's my rant for today. I'll try to come back and do something after the launch today. But anyway, if you like the video, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe to the channel, and all that great stuff. Thank you very much, and have a great day.